Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Karl F. Rose recording on President's Day, February 21st. February 17th, 2020. And let me just start with my intro music here. Okay, now let me put out my disclaimer. If you're 13 years old or younger, please leave this podcast now. This content is not targeted for children, so let me put in my alarm. Okay, and again, if you're under 13, please leave, and here's my alarm again. Okay, all right. Let's get into this. As many of you know, I no longer support the Detroit Lions. I've switched teams. I now follow the Buffalo Bills, but that's for a different topic. I've already done videos on that. But the reason I am talking about this is that there's a lot of rumors going around about Matthew Stafford being traded. So that's really what this podcast is about. I do watch some of the local stations on the news, the WXYZ, the ABC station in Detroit, and WDIV, which is the NBC local station in Detroit. And apparently, how all this started was WDIV, Bernie Smilovich, was talking about it. I missed that segment when he started on it. But in any event, the station and Kelly Stafford apparently have a pretty close working relationship. Now, let's just get on to the impacts of what would happen with a trade. First of all, let me just say, for the most part, it would be really silly for the Detroit Lions to trade Matthew Stafford this year. Next year might be a different story, because if they were to trade him, they would get hit with a salary cap. It would kill them on the salary cap space. It just would not be practical. But then again, we're dealing with the Detroit Lions, probably one of the most inept managed NFL teams, or actually most inept managed sports team of all time. Seriously, that's not why I left. I switched over to Buffalo for personal family matters, and that I don't even want to go there. I'm happy with supporting Buffalo. So let me get back to Matthew Stafford. But knowing the Lions, okay, they would probably do something really stupid and idiotic to trade Matthew Stafford, because that's just how they operate. That's the Lions. And that'd be something they go. But the thing is, Matthew Stafford is banged up, and I think Kelly Stafford wants to have a husband for about 20 or 30 more years at least, and that's not going to happen if he continues playing with the Lions. Not with the way he gets beaten around. I still think he still has severe back injuries. He needs a good offensive line, and so I can understand exactly where Kelly Stafford is coming from, if any of all this is true. Now, me personally, if the Lions do something financially idiotic and do trade him, which would be for the benefit for Matthew Stafford, I love Matthew Stafford, and I want nothing more to see him win a Super Bowl and get a ring. But that's never going to happen with the Lions. And I think Kelly Stafford's thinking the same thing. And I'll tell you what, if he goes to San Diego, or if I really hope he doesn't go to New England. There's talk about him going there. But if he does, I would support him, and I would probably have to, unfortunately, support the Patriots, because whatever team, if he does leave the Lions, I will immediately start supporting that team. Preferably it would be the Chargers. I would be an immediate San Diego Charger fan if Stafford becomes their quarterback. That would just be great. It would be an idiotic move by the Lions to do it this year, but if they do it next year, regardless, if they wherever Stafford goes, I was hoping that for several years I've been saying before the Texans got Deshaun Watson or whatever his name is for their quarterback. Because there was a number of years there where Houston really needed a quarterback, and they've got a solid line, and I really wanted to see. And not only that, Matthew Stafford's roots are from Texas. So an ideal spot would have been the Houston Texans, but now they have a quarterback, so that's out of the question. So are these trade rumors true? Well, only time will tell. The off season has just barely got underway, and but again, as I said, for the Lions financially, and they're also saying that they're talking about Martha Ford's ultimatum. That is so stupid, because her ultimatums are actually useless. She came out with that after they were 0-16, a few years later, in about 2012, I think it was, something like that. And she came out publicly how they're going to change and all that. Well, what have they done since then? Absolutely nothing. What have they done in the last 50 years? 50 years, 50 years, 60 years even. Nothing. The Lions, and let me point out a lot of people who really follow the Lions don't know when or what. Let me tell you, the Lions were purchased on November 22nd, 1963 by William Clay Ford. That was, and as many of you know, if you're history buffs, that was the same day President Kennedy was assassinated. So even if that was big news, which it wouldn't have been, it would have been local news, maybe national news. But anyway, everything else got overshadowed by the assassination of President Kennedy. So that's, and let's talk a little bit about the curse of Bobby Lane. That is the curse of Bobby Lane. Until the Fords sell the Lions are doomed to be just a really rotten team, and they won't go anywhere. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were stupid enough fiscally or financially to trade Matthew Stafford this year. And I would go yay for Matthew Stafford. I would applaud that. The Lions organization, they need to be revamped. And for Matthew Stafford's and his family's benefit, it would just be ideal. I would like to see him as a Charger, because I think Matthew Stafford could actually make the Chargers do something. He would have already a supporting cast on both sides of the ball, solid. That would just work out really good. And I don't think he would be getting beat around as much as he is with the Lions. But on the Lions, the smartest thing for the Lions as an organization is keep him around for another year, maybe use him sparingly so he doesn't get beat up too badly, work in other thing. But that's for the Lions stuff. That's for that video, and I don't really do much Lions stuff anymore. This is all more about Matthew Stafford, and I just want to see, for his own benefit, for his health, his family, and everything, I want to see the best for him, and I will follow him wherever he goes. So anyway, I do a lot of other sports videos. So this will be on my YouTube channel. So I'll have cards at the top on either end of the card. Be sure to click those cards. Be sure to go in the description below. And I'll check my sports links in the description and my playlist and all that. Plus, I just started a Reddit thing, and you can go and find me there. And I will talk to you next time. And let's get some more music back on here. Let's get my. Okay. That's it. We will talk to you next week, and have a good President's Day, and take care.